The Young and the Restless, Audra Charles and the plan to destroy Kyle and Claire's relationship in the scheming world of Genoa City, where power and manipulation lurk beneath every smile and glance. Audra Charles is plotting a devious scheme that is not only meticulously calculated but also dangerously treacherous. Her target is none other than Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman, who are slowly building a beautiful and promising relationship. But with the help of a man from her past, Holden Novak, Audra is determined to destroy everything they have built. And all because of a promise from the most powerful man in Genoa City, Victor Newman. An old relationship, Audra and Holden Novak. Audra Charles is not someone to be taken lightly. She knows that in a world filled with power struggles and hidden secrets, success doesn't come from simply taking action, but from knowing how to use people and understand your enemies. With a past full of secrets that have never been revealed, Audra decides to use her ex-lover, Holden Novak, as a secret weapon to deal a decisive blow to Kyle and Claire's relationship. Holden is no stranger to the town. He is a charismatic man who can build relationships with those around him quickly and effectively. Audra knows this, and she also knows that Holden cannot resist Claire's charm. But she also knows something more important, that Holden is the weapon that will mess everything up and easily bring down Kyle and Claire's relationship. And to do this, she must act subtly and skillfully. The devious plan begins. Audra didn't stop at just pushing Holden into Claire's life, but had a carefully orchestrated plan in place. Every step she took was carefully calculated, from creating chance encounters between Holden and Claire to making their bar conversations or affectionate glances part of the game she was playing. Audra had a complete understanding of other people's psychology, and she knew that every action she took would take things further in this destructive plan. These encounters were not accidental. Every little detail of every conversation, every look, was carefully prepared by Audra. She meticulously orchestrated everything to make Kyle and Claire suspicious of each other, causing feelings of jealousy and insecurity to begin to creep into their relationship. Things get even more complicated when Nate Hastings, Audra's current boyfriend, has no idea what she's been doing behind his back. Audra continues to keep her secrets, but things are starting to fall apart. Victor Newman and the calculated relationship. Audra's actions aren't just for personal pleasure. There's a bigger motive behind everything she's doing, and that's Victor Newman's commitment. She's convinced Victor that if she succeeds in breaking up Kyle and Claire, she'll be given her own company. It's a powerful promise from one of the most powerful men in Genoa City, and Audra can't refuse. Victor, with his strategic vision, knows that breaking up Kyle and Claire could create a huge boost for the Newman family's business relationships. Although he is not directly involved in the plan, as usual, Victor is behind the scenes, pulling the strings from the shadows. And in this scheme, Audra is the pawn he uses to achieve his goals. Jealousy and forbidden kisses. With Holden gradually becoming an important part of Claire's life, complicated emotions begin to arise. Jealousy is inevitable, especially when Claire feels her relationship with Kyle is being challenged by the appearance of a man she could not have foreseen. Every time Holden and Claire meet, an undeniable bond begins to form, and that is exactly what Audra wants to achieve: Claire's confusion and bewilderment. Forbidden kisses begin to appear between Holden and Claire, whether by accident or by Audra's arrangement, and they create a tense relationship between the three. These kisses are not only betrayals, but also tapping into each character's deepest emotions, making each decision potentially devastating. Audra finds that when jealousy and uncertainty invade Kyle and Claire's minds, she can easily pull them apart. Betrayal and consequences. Audra's plan deepens, and the cracks in Kyle and Claire's relationship become more apparent than ever. Audra not only succeeds in making them jealous, but also in stirring up deep doubts about each other's loyalty. A major shock will come when the truth about Audra and Holden's old relationship is revealed, leaving Nate feeling betrayed. This truth will not only destroy Kyle and Claire's relationship, but will also leave Audra and Nate facing serious consequences. Endgame. A new battle. Audra, in her ambition, has sown the seeds of betrayal and jealousy, and now she faces a new battle when everyone finds out what she has done. However, like all power plays in Genoa City, this battle will not end easily. Connections, secrets, and sudden changes will continue to push people into situations they could never have foreseen. Audra Charles has succeeded in driving Kyle and Claire apart, but can she keep what she has achieved, or will she be the one to pay the price for her ambition and cunning? Time will tell. The young and the restless. When things go wrong in the scheming world of Genoa City, nothing is ever simple, and relationships between people who love each other are never built on solid foundations. With the arrival of Holden Novak, the relationship between Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman begins to show signs of cracks. And Audra Charles, with her sinister plans, has calculated everything meticulously to ensure that these bonds will not just break but will be completely destroyed. A forbidden kiss will be the starting point of an unpredictable chain of events. Holden and Claire, building an irresistible feeling. The scene is undeniable. Holden Novak looks at Claire with seductive eyes, and the chemistry between them is so strong that no one can ignore it. Kyle Abbott, despite loving Claire deeply, cannot help but notice the tension in the air whenever Holden is around. Jealousy is an emotion that cannot be hidden, and it begins to overwhelm Kyle, spreading so strongly that he cannot control his insecurities whenever Holden appears. Audra Charles, the one behind all this arrangement, does not just sit back and watch. She knows that jealousy will be the most powerful tool to incite instability in Kyle and Claire's relationship. And she knows that Holden is her secret weapon to create conflict in Kyle's mind. Holden's mesmerizing glances are not a coincidence, they are part of Audra's careful plan, an indispensable part of completing her scheme. Audra, the puppet master from behind the curtain. Audra does not stop at planting seeds of doubt in Kyle's mind, but also subtly builds up the insecurities in his heart. She deliberately made Kyle feel that there was a threat approaching his relationship, and that was Holden. Every time she met Kyle, Audra's every word, every look was aimed at fueling his doubts about his relationship with Claire. But the harsh truth was that she had carefully arranged for Holden and Claire to constantly accidentally encounter each other, making the two of them get closer and closer. That scene was not just a chance encounter, but also wordless flirting, inexplicable affectionate looks. Every time Claire and Holden met, a part of her relationship with Kyle began to crack. But Audra didn't just want to see Kyle's jealousy, she wanted the seeds of doubt to be planted and begin to sprout, turning it into an unquenchable fire. Summer Newman, an unexpected visitor. Things get even more complicated when Kyle's ex-girlfriend Summer Newman accidentally becomes part of the plan. Little does she know that her innocent comments are making things worse. Her questions about Claire and Kyle's current relationship, along with her teasing about Kyle's past feelings for Summer, unintentionally add fuel to Kyle's jealousy. Does Summer still have feelings for Kyle? Or is she just fanning the flames of a feeling Kyle has been trying to suppress? Each of Summer's questions is like a small cut, further fracturing the relationship between Claire and Kyle. Although Summer may not mean it, while she's making things complicated, Audra is standing behind her, enjoying all the destruction she's worked so hard to create. Audra knows that when Claire and Kyle's relationship begins to fall apart, frustration and jealousy will create an opportunity for Holden to gain an easier foothold in Claire's heart. The forbidden kiss, a deepening relationship and its inevitable consequences, and then, everything finally leads to the inevitable moment. The forbidden kiss between Holden and Claire will not only be a betrayal, but also a turning point in this dramatic story. Every tense moment between Kyle and Claire has been preparing for this. As Claire's frustration reaches its peak after a heated argument with Kyle, she begins to fall easily into Holden's arms. The bond between them, though temporary, is too strong to resist. When Holden and Claire's lips finally touch, it is more than just a kiss. It is a sign of betrayal, of a relationship torn apart, and a moment when everything will change forever. But the biggest question remains. Will Claire realize the consequences of this action? And will Holden be willing to accept all the consequences of this encounter? Kyle, pride and the inevitable confrontation. When the truth about Holden and Claire's kiss is revealed, Kyle will not forgive easily. Abbott's pride is too deep for him to accept such a betrayal. The jealousy he has felt all this time will not be just a temporary feeling, but will turn into a full-blown rage. Kyle will not let Claire get the better of him easily, and he will not hesitate to confront Holden in a battle that will surely have no winner. However, Claire will face a difficult choice. She will have to deal with the mixed feelings between her love for Kyle and her strong attraction to Holden. Can she return to Kyle, with whom she has built a stable relationship, or will she continue to be drawn into Holden's temptation? Each choice Claire makes will be a turning point, not only for herself but for everyone around her. Nate and the secret revelation. As things are coming to a head, Nate begins to sense that something is not right between Audra and Holden. The affectionate glances and jokes between them are not as subtle as they think. Nate, with his sharp eyes, begins to suspect and learn about Audra and Holden's past. When he discovers their past connection, all the pieces will be assembled, and the price to pay will be too high. When the truth is revealed, things will not stop at the confrontations between Kyle, Claire, and Holden. Nate will also have to face Audra, someone he thought was trustworthy, but in fact is hiding dark secrets. The story will not stop at betrayal between couples but also the collapse of a trusted relationship. The finale, the core of a new war. The stakes are high, and each character in this story will have to face the inevitable consequences. Will Claire be able to get back together with Kyle after everything has been revealed? And will Audra, with her dark intentions, be able to maintain her victory after all the truth is revealed? The Young and the Restless, Emotional Crisis and Dangerous Intrigue. Genoa City, a place where secrets are hidden under the cover of smiles and relationships, where love can easily turn into betrayal, where power is always the one who controls all arrangements. And in this story, it all starts with a perfect relationship between Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman, a once admired couple, now on the brink of breaking up. But behind that rift, there are dangerous conspiracies, and the name behind it all is none other than Victor Newman, the most powerful man in Genoa City. Victor Newman, the man behind the curtain. Victor Newman is not only a powerful man but also a master in the art of manipulation. Everyone around him, whether relatives, partners or enemies, becomes a pawn in a calculated chess game. And this time, his target is the relationship between Kyle and Claire. It seems that everything is ready for this couple to enter a deep crisis, without Victor directly intervening but quietly pulling the strings from behind. To achieve his goal, he assigned Audra Charles to carry out his plan, a sophisticated and ruthless plan. Audra, with her intelligence and cold calculation, did not hesitate to carry out Victor's scheme. She tried to break the relationship between Kyle and Claire by taking advantage of Holden Novak, a man with strong charisma and a mysterious past. Audra did not stop at making Kyle feel jealous and insecure, but also arranged for Holden and Claire to meet, creating tense situations between them. Everything seemed to be going according to plan, but Audra could not have expected that an important factor would turn everything upside down. Holden Novak, betrayer or true love? Holden Novak is more than just a part of Audra's scheme. He is becoming more and more of a factor in this story. And the biggest question is whether Holden is really just a pawn in the hands of Audra and Victor, or is he really starting to feel feelings for Claire? The relationship between Holden and Claire is more than just chance encounters or affectionate glances. Every moment between them has an irresistible attraction. But when real feelings begin to arise, things start to get a lot more complicated. Audra has everything figured out, but she couldn't have foreseen the real feelings that develop between Holden and Claire. Does Holden really love Claire? Are those feelings fake, part of Audra's plan, or have they become real? If Holden really loves Claire, will he be willing to betray Audra to pursue his true love? This is a question that even Audra cannot answer. And if this really happens, it will not only destroy Audra's plans but also create a huge shock in the world of Genoa City. Kyle and Claire, will they survive this crisis? The relationship between Kyle and Claire is being seriously tested. Kyle's jealousy is uncontrollable whenever Holden appears. No matter how hard he tries to deceive himself, he cannot deny the feeling of insecurity when he sees Claire being attracted to another man. Audra, with her scheming, has created a great distance between them, making things tense and difficult to save. However, the biggest question is whether Kyle and Claire can overcome this challenge. Will their love be strong enough to withstand the manipulation and machinations of those behind it, or will they be drawn into this crisis uncontrollably? While Claire is torn between her love for Kyle and her strong attraction to Holden, Kyle is struggling with his feelings. He cannot accept the betrayal, but he also cannot give up on the relationship he has worked so hard to build. Will their love be strong enough to overcome these challenges? Or will this crisis be the end of their relationship? Audra. Intrigue and possible failure. Audra may have planned perfectly, but things don't always go the way she wants. If Holden really loves Claire, if his feelings for her go beyond his initial calculations, Audra's plan could backfire spectacularly. Not only will she fail the mission Victor gave her, but Audra could also lose Holden, the man she's always believed was her weapon to destroy Kyle and Claire's relationship. And if Holden does decide to follow his heart, betray Audra, and pursue his true love with Claire, it will send shockwaves through all the characters' lives. Not only will Holden and Audra's relationship be fractured, but it will also force Kyle and Claire to face difficult choices, as their love and loyalty are tested to the utmost. Finale. The crisis is coming. When the plan finally comes to fruition, nothing will be the same in Genoa City. Relationships will be tested, secrets will be exposed, and emotions will be unchecked. Love, betrayal, manipulation, and painful decisions will be the main elements of this story. The most important thing is whether Kyle and Claire can ride this great wave and find their love again? And is Holden willing to leave his schemes behind and find true love, despite the consequences he faces? All will be revealed in the tense moments to come. I will be right here, watching every amazing moment unfold, as everything in Genoa City changes forever.